Hey, welcome back guys. This is Beamer Merchant doing another do-it-yourself video. Today we're going to focus on removing the passenger rear door panel out of a 2000 BMW 740 IL. This model has the shades. Not all of them do. Because of this, it requires different steps. We're going to go ahead and show you the tools and steps required to remove this door panel. Once we're done with that, we're going to come down here and show you how to take the door lock actuator out. So to begin with, let's see what tools we'll be needing for this job. Okay, it's a little dark in here in the car, so we're using a light. Tools will be required. I'm going to have my buddy Chris here show you what they are.
A Husky interior trim remover, a Torx 20 T20, a regular Phillips, any screwdriver would work, and a flathead. I have an impact driver and a 1/4 inch ratchet just to make things quicker.
Let's get started. Okay, step one, we need to go ahead and remove this trim here, which houses the quarter privacy shade. The way you do this is, if you look at the top corner here, you can't see it because there's no light, but there's an opening, so I can stick my screwdriver in there. There's a metal pin that looks like this. Metal pin looks like this. So what's gonna happen is, what should happen is you stick the blade in here through that gap that I showed you, and you lift this up. And when you're lifting up, you pull the housing towards you. Okay, so now here Chris is gonna attempt to do just that. There you go. Pops out. Slides off from here too. This is how it looks from the top and the bottom. Remove this Phillips screw. That's holding the door panel in place back here. Okay, once that's out, we go ahead and behind the handle there's a cover. We pop that cover out, and I believe there's a 20 Torx in there. We go ahead and use the Husky, pop it out, don't lose it, and that's a 20 Torx. Go ahead and take that out. Proceed to pop the switch out. We use this Husky. Be careful because you could go ahead and scratch the door panel if not done properly. So we did that, disconnected. Then we go under the panel.
You see a light.
This light down here. When removing this lower lights, make sure that you pop it out from this side facing the hood of the car. Pop it out so it comes out this way, because on the other side you're gonna see there's the connection. If you try to go ahead and pop it out from here, you're gonna break the connection or break the light. We now proceed to remove the door panel. What we need to do is we need to go ahead and pop out the plastic pins. And we use the same Husky here. Just be careful. Do it evenly. You'll hear the pins pop, and I'll show you how the plastic pins look once the panel is out of the way.
I like to walk my hand behind the door panel as I move with the Husky so it doesn't flap back down.
Okay, and then the rest you just pull out. Okay, so now it's, hold on, give me 1 second. That's why we need to go ahead and remove this screw, because if you don't, you're gonna break the this side for the panel. Came out right there. Now here, what's holding it is the handle. What we do is we go ahead and twist the handle and we push it in. There you go, slide it in, and then the whole door panel comes out. It's two connections, one for the tweeter and the other one for the ashtray light.
Don't forget about your light connector either. This one's tricky.
Alright, and this is how the back of the door panel looks. These are the plastic pins that we were popping out all along the door panel. And this is a good idea too. If you ever need to replace the tweeter here, you can do that now. Also, I know in most cases these ashtrays, let me flip it around, they stop working. So for example, in this case, you push it in, it opens. Same thing here, you push it in, it opens. When they're broken, they stay open, just like this. So if you ever want to replace these two pieces, you need to remove the door panel. We now proceed to removing the door lock actuator. Go ahead, Chris.
One Phillips down here. It's a Phillips, but I'm just gonna pry it because it's plastic, and you pop it back in.
So plastic cover that goes all along the edge here of the door.
You just
once that's out.
Real easy.
We now have access to 3 E12 screws. We're gonna go ahead and take those off. Before we do that, I just wanna go ahead and point something out to you. See this cable up here? And the one on top? This is the cable that actually operates the inner door handle. The bottom cable stretches all the way across here, and that's what pops your locking knob. That's what it's called. Before we actually get to remove the actuator, I know this is a tedious process, but we recommend removing all these parts, speakers, this here, this one lights the inner door handle right here. Mostly everything is held by Phillips screws, so it shouldn't be a problem. Once you take those parts off, then you need to go ahead and remove this foam. Maybe not, maybe we can just go ahead and get away with just folding it to about halfway here. We just need access to getting to the actuator and pulling it out. So we're gonna go ahead and remove everything else here. And as we said before, it's pretty much Phillips.
First, I'm gonna disconnect all the wires. Alright, so once you've covered that, remove all the Phillips. You could use the Husky or you could just pull it. I would just pull it.
Be careful, because if you break it, you gotta buy it from the dealer or from us at a better price.
And you see this little yellow bump right there? You grab your Husky and you simply pry underneath, put your thumb on top, pull it towards you, out.
While we're getting cutters to cut these zip ties, if your shade goes out, this would be a good time to replace it now. See, it gives you access to the Phillips screws all along here.
Carefully trim it, don't trim your wires. Alright, so there's these little tabs that had the zip tie on them. You're going to want to put the Husky on it, like parallel with the squares, to get underneath it. And put your thumb on top, pull it towards you. This little stud right here on the top left from the lock knob, you could just slide the Husky underneath it and slowly pry it out. Careful not to break it. Alright, so now that we've cleared all the electronics out of the way, we're going to pull this cover here, the seal, about halfway, just to give us some space to work. This goop, you don't want to get it on your clothes.
Now this cover's in pretty decent shape. I've seen some where they're yellow, and as soon as you start tugging at it, it disintegrates. So if you have a good cover, make sure you don't rip it, and because you can reuse it.
Just be careful, try not to distort it.
We're trying to we're going to go halfway out about here. That way when we remove the actuator, we can just go ahead and bring it down here and pull it out. If your actuator ever stopped working and you finally get access to it, this little handle is the locking system. So right now it's unlocked, and then you push it down and it locks it manually. And I've gotten a lot of questions like, hey, I can't open my door, I have the panel off, I just don't know how to unlock it. That's what you do. In order to remove the handle cable, we need to remove this Torx. That's a 20. And once we get that out, we gotta pop the yellow tab in.
What you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to pull this tab towards the little window up there. At the very top, it should push right through, and you could take it out.
Don't forget to take the Torx out first, otherwise you'll break it. Once you're done with that, you're not done yet. If you see this goo is covering another Torx. This Torx is holding the cable for the locking mechanism. Let's go ahead and take that out. Once the Torx is out, it's still in there.
Yep.
Okay, there's that tab right. Okay, right there. Now that we have both cables free, we can proceed to remove the 3 bolts holding the actuator in place. Just want to share this information with you guys. This bolt here will not come out. It kept spinning when we tried to take it off. We took the angle grinder out, cut out the top. Now it's time to push the actuator out. Okay, disconnect that. Don't forget that cable back there. Once you release that cable, it should be pretty straightforward. You press it down and then you push the plastic knob out towards you and it should come out. To make your life easier, those 2 cables, go ahead and push them through this gap here. Make sure not to lose any of the parts. Push them through, that way they're not getting stuck at the edge. On the side of the door, there's a reflector, lights up. That's what's actually blocking the actuator from going down. So we're gonna go ahead and remove that. We're gonna go ahead and unplug the connector that's inside. I don't know if you can see it down here, but we'll show you once it's out. Alright, once you disconnect that, see it back there. Disconnect it, actuator comes out. And that's a connector that's preventing the actuator from sliding down. So once you get this out of the way, the actuator comes out. Alright, this is a better, closer look at the actuator. As you can see, this handle here is for the inner door handle. It attaches right there. This one is for the lock. Long cable right here. And then as we mentioned earlier, this one I believe, I want to say it locks it and unlocks it manually. So if your actuator is acting up, please replace it, because once it stops working, it's nearly impossible to go ahead and replace this actuator while your door is closed. If you have any questions, comments, let us know. If you need these parts, visit our website posted below. Thanks for watching. You have an awesome day. Take care.